Welcome to the Economic Empowerment Podcast, where we break down the pathways to financial growth, investment opportunities, and building generational wealth. I'm your host, Ramel Lee, and I'm thrilled to take you on this journey beyond business into a world of possibilities that many don't have the access to see. Each episode, we deep dive into topics like alternative investments, real estate, hotel ownership, and much more, bringing you expert insights, inspirational stories, and actionable advice to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an experienced investor or just starting to explore new opportunities, this podcast is here to empower you with knowledge and tools to make informed decisions. But before we get started, I want to remind you, this podcast is for informational purposes only. The content discussed here is not financial advice. Every investment decision carries risk, and it's crucial to do your own research and consult with your personal financial advisor before taking action. Now, let's dive in and explore the exciting world of economic empowerment. Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Economic Empowerment Podcast. I'm your host, Ramel Lee, and I am here with the great Mr. Marcus Thomas of Choice Hotels. When I tell you all, this is a great guy, great resource. From the moment we first got connected, he's kept me plugged in on the hotel scene, and it's just been a wealth of knowledge and information. So, Marcus, tell the people a little about yourself.
Oh man, thank you for that introduction, sir. I will remind myself to get the check in the mail later. But good morning, everybody. I am Marcus Thomas. I am one of two director of strategic programs with Choice Hotels. In short, we have a team that helps. We identify and then we help and usher in underrepresented minorities into the wonderful world of hotel development. This is I've been doing this for 3 years now. So I'm going into my fourth year doing this. And yeah, man, I absolutely love it. You know, I get to work with people specifically of African-American descent. I work with Native American groups. I work with Latino and Hispanic American groups to bring them into hotel ownership. And then we have another teammate who works with women to usher them in. She's really, really good at helping women get into hotel ownership. And then she works with veterans as well. So those are predominantly the five groups that we work with on a daily basis to help break into hotel ownership.
That's great. That's great, and I'm glad Choice is still on board with helping out those underrepresented groups. Can you break down what hotel franchising is and how it's different from independent hotel ownership?
Man, okay, yeah, right out the bat with a good question. Hotel franchising is similar to you franchising. I mean, just franchising in general, right? If you know whatever business that you're doing, partnering with a franchisor, there comes some significant advantages as far as you understanding what your costs are going to be going into, you know, that project, understanding what the procedures and the processes are going to be going into that process. And with hotels, it's the same, right? So kind of like in having an independent restaurant being your first venture, right? And you got all your grandmother's great recipes, or you have an opportunity at that same location to build a McDonald's. You know, for someone who's, you know, looking at, you know, cash flow, and if that's important to you and you're not just trying to really, live a dream, you know, you may really consider that. So we kind of like an hotel franchise in the same way. I mean, there's going to be some specific processes that you have when you're partnering with, in this case, with Choice Hotels, but there are other flags out there. You've got, you know, your Hiltons and Marriotts and Hyatts, IHGs, you know, Wyndham. Those are all big players, good companies that you could partner with. But in this specific case here, talking about Choice today, we would have 22 brands that you would have to select from if you wanted to partner with Choice. Each brand brings its own unique abilities and its unique advantages, you know, to a particular situation. So, being able to do that versus doing an independent hotel, I think kind of, especially if it's on your first hotel venture, it would behoove you to really look at partnering with a franchisor and doing a hotel franchise, because it kind of takes a lot of the guesswork out of what is your hotel going to cost? How's the process going to go? How the development process go, pre-construction, post-construction, how's it going to be operated? You kind of have all those processes lined out for you, which for a hotel operator is, that's like gold, man. Hey, and furthermore, I'll say this right here, and this will probably be the running theme through this whole conversation we have. It will be a lot easier for you on the back end if you're going to try to secure any type of debt or any type of financing. It will be extremely tough for you to secure financing on an independent hotel, especially if it's going to be your first venture. It'll be tough to get it on an independent hotel if you are an experienced or a seasoned hotelier, but it'd be virtually impossible if you're doing it on your first hotel go around.
No, that's great. And I've also told people, when they say, well, why you want to do the franchise? I says, well, we can either rely on my couple of years of hotel operation experience, or we
Right.
can rely on the 100 years of a Hilton, a
Of the,
Choice, or
of the
something
flag,
like that, right?
of the
So
flag, yeah. And think about it like this: when you partner with the franchisor, there's some deliverables that they're going to offer, right? There's some platforms that they're going to put you on, the marketing, the global distribution, and them guaranteeing a certain amount of business is going to come to your hotels because you are a franchisee with that partner. So that plays a big part in it too, right? We're talking about, if you're going to get into hotel development, if you're getting into it and you're not trying to look at how this thing cash flows and operates and how you turn and make money from it, I don't think it's what are we really doing it for, right? So those factors have to have a significant play in it. So if you got those processes and guidelines all laid out, you got the power behind the flag now. So their global distribution, their local and regional marketing platforms that they put you on, they make it where hey, your hotel location can get some real visibility just by it being a Choice hotel versus an independent hotel.
right. No, that's all good stuff. So, you're with Choice. What would be like the process of becoming a Choice Hotel franchisee?
Oh wow, man. So I guess to kind of sum it up rather quickly, there's going to be an application process that you would have to go through, and that's with any particular flag, that application process isn't free. There's a fee that goes along with that. It just so happens with our program and with our SOAR program with Choice, with underrepresented groups anyway, when they come in, that's something that we can kind of mitigate for that applicant coming in if they're really trying to get a hotel deal done. But that application process, part of that is they want to get a really good snapshot of your personal financial statement. So be ready to kind of show them what your net worth is as well, and all of that information goes to an investment committee to kind of vet out if this person is viable to be a hotel franchisee or not. Also, as part of that application process, there is like some site evaluation that you're going to go through as well. So they want to be able to look at the site that you're proposing or the hotel that you're looking to convert over into a Choice, and that investment committee, they underwrite that deal as well. So if it all kind of pencils out, you'll hear that term throughout your hotel and development endeavors. But if that all kind of pencils out, then of course Choice is going to present you with a term sheet. And with that term sheet, there'll be maybe a certain amount of incentive money or some type of incentive that they'll offer with that term sheet. And that'll kind of spell out exactly what their interest is in that particular hotel project. And then from there, if it all kind of works out in your terms, you have your team and your attorney kind of read over this term sheet. Then from there, they'll present you with a franchise agreement. With that franchise agreement, everything that was in that term sheet would be kind of transposed into that franchise agreement with all that legal jargon in there. And as part of you authorizing the franchise agreement, there will also be an affiliation fee that you pay. And I'm just kind of going through any hotel process, not just Choice.
Right.
But with that affiliation fee, be it 50,000, be it 40,000. The typical number is going to be anywhere from 50 to maybe $100,000 for that affiliation fee. Then you just bought the right to have that franchise at that location now for probably the next 20 years.
No, that's good to know. So you said that part of the process is going over the personal financial statement. What are the typical financial requirements of owning a hotel franchise, and what factors influence the total investment?
Oh man, good question, brother. Good question. Um, Obviously, man, and this is just kind of the reality of life, and kind of where we are in the world now. But man, they're gonna want to get a good snapshot of your liquidity, right? I mean, they want to make sure you at least have the resources to pull the deal off. Now, I will say this here: you may not necessarily have to have the liquidity yourself, but if you have the ability to go and raise the capital, I think that's just as important as you having, $1 million in the bank. Being able to go and raise 1 million or 2 million for your capital raise, I think would be probably the most important part. So when you turn that personal financial statement in, you want to be able to demonstrate that, hey, I do have partners and I do have syndication, and this is the capital that I'm looking to raise for this particular project. Those are things that we would have already spelled out to that committee anyway when that deal comes. So they would, they kind of look at that as a whole, as opposed to you just having, $10 million net worth and, $1.5 million liquidity. I mean, those things are great, but, being able to demonstrate how to go raise the capital, I think would be the most important part. So that's really kind of what they're looking for when you're getting all that information into Choice.
That's good to know. Good to know. So they don't just so it's a personal financial statement and your ability to raise the capital to close the deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that means if you've got an investment group, you may not just give your personal financial statement. You may give the PFS for, for the four members in the group. Now look at how strong the PFS looks versus one partner saying, hey, I have $500,000 liquidity, versus four partners saying together we present ourselves as this entity, right? Because that's usually what's going to buy the hotel. If you think about it like this here, when you drive by a hotel and you see Mr. Marriott or you see Hilton there, we typically think that's who owns that hotel. Well, you've been doing this long enough now, Ramel, did you understand that it's the LLC that owns that hotel? That hotel is pretty much a small business, is what it is. And RD Lee Capital Partners LLC is who would own that particular entity. So why not present the entity as the four, right? And our liquidity as a team now is 3.5 million versus one having 500,000 in liquidity. That's how you present that PFS to Choice.
Right. And that's something that we really preach here on economic empowerment is cooperative economics, working together, pooling resources together, including capital to pull off deals like this that can provide some life-changing wealth opportunities. Have you ever stayed in a hotel and thought, what if I owned this? What if you could move from being a guest to being an owner? Hi, I'm Ramel Lee, managing partner of RDL Hotel Fund 1. We've created a unique opportunity for people like you to invest in hotel ownership, an asset class once reserved for the wealthy elite. Hotels, especially economy extended stay properties, are resilient and generate cash flow even during economic downturns. With as little as $10,000, you can join our movement to democratize wealth and create opportunities for your future. This is your chance to build generational wealth. Don't just stay in hotels, own them. Visit us at www.rdleecp.com to learn more and take your first step today.
Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. This here, like I would always tell a new first time hotelier, if you were going to ask, hey man, what advice would you give them? Hey man, go get your team together. You got to make sure that team is solid, which means whatever investment group and it may be family and friends. It may be a team of, in your case, it may be law enforcement professionals that have teamed together and put their fund together. It may be a team of young physicians. I was just having this conversation with my oldest son. He's in medical school right now. Hey, having this conversation about, hey, at some point you're going to get 4 of your doctor friends and you guys are going to form a group and y'all are going to build a hotel together. Like he and I just had this conversation 20 minutes ago. So, that's kind of the way you go at doing it. And especially if this is going to be your first time, like imagine a team going or a person going to hunt an elephant by themselves. That's impossible, brother. Now can it be done? Yes. But if you're going to hunt an elephant successfully, you want to do it in a coordinated fashion with the team.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you get the capital that you raise, which is primarily for the down payment on the asset. What are some common financing options available to prospective franchisees? And does Choice have any support in this area?
So they do. So now I will say this now, Choice being that they're the franchisor, they do not own or operate the hotels. Those are done by the LLC themselves. But there are some incentives that we'll offer for you as well as being a franchisee, in the form of what they call key money or key money incentive for you to do it. But I guess to kind of go back to the original question of some financing options, I mean, obviously, man, if you've got a good relationship with your local or regional bank, I would leverage those. I definitely would. I would go and ask them, and especially now that you're getting into this type of a commercial asset, I would find out, do they do financing for hotels? Some do, some don't. There are some connections that we could obviously, help you partner with as well. But the SBA financing is still a good route to go. The terms of maybe a 20% down payment on an SBA loan, I think will be kind of tough in the financial state right now. So you'd be looking at maybe a 25% down payment or maybe even a 30% down payment. But that kind of gives you more leverage on the back end as well, because you're not heavily leveraged with that 80 part that you're left to pay back now. USDA offers some good financing as well. We've also tried to help people if you have a green initiative or if you understand what that is, some type of sustainability initiative with your small business. I would look into maybe some CPACE lending as well. So just to kind of name a few, but I would definitely start if you already have a small business, you're already a business owner, or you have a couple of franchises that are not hotels, I would start right with my local bank.
That's great advice, and a lot of these different financial options can be put together to what they call the capital stack to form how you're going to pay for the hotel. So
Correct.
yeah, those are all great options. So we know choices like the top is the parent company, and they have what we call flags underneath them. How should an investor determine which one is the best fit for their market and investment goals?
My brother, that is an excellent question. So I would say for one, but getting into this, understand hotel segmentation. Understand it, right? So, and there are reasons why hotels are segmented the way they are. So, and we cannot look at going at this through the consumer lens, right? So we got to kind of take our lens off of how we go stay in hotels and understand how people stay in hotels. The segments go from economy. That's the segment at the bottom, and that's 80% of folks that travel in the U.S. stay in economy hotels. Maybe not you or I. I don't know if wife gonna let you put her in one. Mine won't let me put her in one. I tried and it didn't work. So we don't do economy hotels. But the next segment up would be mid-scale hotels. Economy hotels, if I were to kind of roll off a few with Choice, that would be our Econo brand, our Roadway brand. If I guess if we look at competition, maybe Wyndham does Travel Lodge. You got Motel 6 out there, right? Those are some competition. In the mid-scale segment, that's kind of where we get, where I would kind of tell somebody, if you're new, to start kind of looking to do a deal. And this is going to be why. The segment won't be low enough to where if you do have to bring in a third-party manager, and this is going to be on your first, hotel foray, definitely hire a management company. Do not try to run this hotel or operate this hotel on your own. You will lose too much money, right? So let's go ahead and put that out of the way. But if you start in that mid-scale segment, that would be a segment that you could come in and look at hiring a third-party manager and still hit those monies on your bottom line to get those profits that you want, right? You want those margins not to be too thin. Mid-scale for us would be like a Quality Inn, Sleep Inn. Those are really good hotels. And believe it or not, 90% of the U.S. that travels, they stay in mid-scale hotels or below. That's how they stay, brother. Our competition for that would be like a Baymont or a Days Inn with Wyndham. And then the segment above that will be upper mid-scale, which is kind of the highest you can go in a limited service hotel. So anything higher than this, segment-wise, is going to probably have some type of food and beverage or meeting space in that hotel or attached to it. Upper mid-scale would be, for Choice hotels, would be like a Comfort Inn or a Country Inn and Suites. And man, we got some nice comforts and some nice countries out there. So if y'all find one that's new, man, we love them. The competition in that space for us with maybe a Marriott would be like a Fairfield. With Hilton would be like a Hampton Inn. With IHG would be like a Holiday Inn Express. Those are all kind of in that upper mid-scale, highest tier you can go in that limited service hotel. So if you're trying to get into the hotel development space and you want to figure out maybe the perfect place to go, that would be probably where I would try to advise you to go look, right? Because your spend isn't going to be too large, and the breadth of the work that you got to do to operate the hotel isn't going to be too wide for you to try to manage, right? Because at that point, all you're managing is your room revenue versus managing your food and beverage, versus which you may lose money on in middle of the week, on the bar, which you may do well on, right? But in the middle of the week, you just don't know. It's just an extra resource there that you got to put manpower to make sure it does, make enough money, or even the meeting space. So above that, I mean, you've got the extended stay category, which, I mean, that would be a good place to start. Above that would be upscale hotels, that segment. And that's probably, where you get into all of your full service, right? Your meeting space, your food and beverage, so on and so forth. And then above that is upper upscale. And then the segment above that will be luxury hotels. Choice goes, we have 22 brands that go all the way from economy all the way to upper upscale. So that upper upscale brand that we have is called Radisson Blu. I invite everybody to look them up if you want to build one. It costs a lot of money, right? So, and then of course, and think about it like this too, as you go up in segment in hotels, the market kind of shifts, right? If you're going to have a hotel that you got to have this certain amount of revenue in, you want it in a location where the density and the traffic is going to be there. So, right, that location may cost you, a significant amount more money than if you're more of a secondary market where you can look at doing extremely well with a limited service hotel. So, there are some things that you got to look at. You got to look at the market, and, I would always say, hey, man, if you can find a good secondary or even a tertiary market, your cost to acquire that land and cost to build is going to be significantly less than if you did it in an urban market.
Right. No, that's all good stuff, right? Because a lot of people don't understand the difference between, everyone I speak to, as far as, when I tell them I'm into, hotel acquisitions, that they either want a boutique hotel or they want a Ritz-Carlton, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I say, you get your boutique, but you brought yourself a job. And
you did. Well, you know what, bro? You know what? I'll say this now, because Choice is real good at the boutique aspect of it. So we've got a brand that we offer. It's called the Ascend brand, and it's a soft brand. If anybody out that's listening understands what a soft brand is, and this is like my little jewel I'm gonna drop for you today. Think about it like this: a Comfort Inn, and that's our flagship brand, right? A Comfort Inn is, in our new prototype Comfort Inn, it's pretty much going to look the same if it's in New York City or if it's in Las Vegas, if it's in Seattle, Washington, if it's in Orlando, Florida, where I reside, right? That's those are the guidelines with those hard brands. Well, with boutique brand now or with a soft brand, you can get away with the boutique feel because you can give that experiential, unique type of ability with this property now that you typically don't get. So here's a fun fact. We started our Ascend brand back in 2009. We were the first soft brand to do it out of all the flags, right? And what that soft brand allows you to do is it allows you to take all of the guardrails out of the hotel development that you have with those hard brands, like with the upper mid-scale and mid-scale brands. The quality is going to look like a quality everywhere. Well, the fun part about having the Ascend brand is none of them really look alike because in nature. So being able to keep the unique ability of your hotel, but still have the power behind the brand is something that has attracted a lot of us, right, to going in to develop that brand. So for the past 2 years that I know, like I've been kind of really into it with the Sin, we have really, really gravitated to that brand because it allows the flair that we bring, right, the personality that our people bring, to a development or to a situation. We have the freedom to do that with that Ascend brand now.
No, that's great to know, and very important for people to understand too, is that you can have a boutique hotel but still take advantage of the backing of a flag, a different
Absolutely.
franchise brand.
Absolutely. It is the reference, and they'll say it at Choice is being in business for yourself, not by yourself. Right? So you
I
got
like that.
that. You got all of the power and the muscle of that corporate giant behind you, but your hotel looks very unique in ability when they walk in. And it's cool, man, with that brand there. I've had people, tell me, man, I went and stayed at this, fantastic hotel in downtown Baltimore, right there on the water. And I didn't even know it was a Choice hotel till I saw it on the platform and I booked it. We get that more often than not with people with that brand right there. But to your point earlier about us wanting a Ritz or a boutique hotel, I mean, think about it like this: a Ritz Carlton in reality is going to cost you probably $400 million to build. You
Yes.
cannot build a Ritz Carlton in the middle of nowhere, right? It's going to have to be a certain urban market or some certain destination that Ritz Carlton is going to have to reside in, because how much money is it really going to have to make for it to survive, right?
Mhm.
You're going to be charging $400 or $500 a night in that hotel. Most people will never even drive past it. They can't even afford to go by and look at it, right?
Right.
So if you're going to build that, and let's say you're going to do an SBA loan, that means to the money down that you need, the equity you got to bring to that deal is going to be $100 million.
Minimum.
You probably
100
got, I don't, I
minimum.
don't know, Ramel, you might have that in the bank, brother, but I don't
Oh
have
no,
that.
no, no.
Man, I have talked to a couple of young hotel developers that are of Indian descent, right? And some of them, man, are 40 years old and own 40 hotels. And they'll tell you, oh man, I do well, and 20 of the hotels I own are quality inns, and they do extremely well. And like, wow, 20 of them, yeah, and 5 of them are high end hotels, but those are the ones that give me the most headache. They're beautiful, right? I can take my family and show them, and put them in nice places, but those are the ones that they give me the most headaches.
Yeah, no, totally, totally. So, we went over like the financing and the differentiations of the different flags. Um, does Choice provide any training or operational support for new and existing franchisees?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, they do. There are a couple of programs that we offer, but our standard program is our hallmark. It's called Choice University, world renowned as far as educational platforms for franchises. It's been the best in the business for 5 years in a row now. Choice University. The team that runs that platform, I know the lady and her team that runs it, man, they're fantastic, brother. And they teach you how to operate the hotel from the franchisee perspective all the way down to the associate level. and it's ongoing training. It's always updated, always something new to refresh yourself on. So as a franchisee, I would say that is, if you really are trying to understand how your hotel operates, immerse yourself in the Choice University, right? And there are other platforms, other flags have theirs, but they are not as in depth and have the bandwidth that Choice University has. Man, it is really, really, really good. And I mean, from profitability and things of that nature, all the new types of nuances that you got to kind of change with to operate your hotel as times change. Choice University just kind of guides you in that direction the entire time. Now, I will say this here, for our underrepresented groups, there's even a little more hand holding that they do, and it's called our NEO program, which is our new entrant owner program. And that it's just kind of Choice University on steroids almost. They really, really hold your hand and teach you, hey, let's try this profitability concept for this particular hotel, which may not work at one in a different location, right? So they're really, really good at that and teaching you, not only how to operate the hotel, but they're really good at strategization part of it to help you if your strategy is to grow your portfolio, right? If you're really trying to go from 2 or 3 hotels to 10, they really can help you strategize on, like, where we're going to do these acquisitions. If you're going to do some acquisitions, where we're going to do these ground up developments. If you're going to build from the ground up, they can really kind of help you aggregate all that and really figure out a plan to do it. That Choice University, brother, is, like, for our franchisees, if you ask me, it's a lifesaver. So definitely we do.
That sounds great. So I'm hearing a lot of different things that the franchisor does, and so what really are the difference between the responsibilities of a franchisee and the franchisor?
Oh, wow. So the franchisor, their job is to bring you business, right? That's their job, is to bring you so much amount of business based on you being on their distribution platforms, right? That's going to be their delivery to you, to give you that marketing visibility that you just necessarily wouldn't have if you were an independent hotel owner. As a franchisee, there are fees that you will pay to the franchisor each and every month, right? So there are royalty and marketing fees. And I'll just tell you, across the board, it's anywhere from 8 to 8.5%. That's a pretty standard number, right, of what you would pay in your revenue. And it's all based on room revenue, right? Not the bar, at least with Choice, it's not with the bar or the meeting space. Whatever 8.5% is. So if you bring in 100,000 in a month, 8% of that you'll pay to the flag. Now, this is the big thing that the franchisees are responsible for. And it's going to be a couple of things. There's obviously a PIP that you're going to be responsible for every 7 to maybe 10 years, right? So the good franchisees, the
And not to
aggressive
cut
ones.
you off, but just for people that don't know, PIP is short for Property Improvement Plan.
Property improvement plan. Sorry about that, brother. I am kind of speaking the lingo here.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, so a property improvement plan, everybody, would be when it's time for you to renovate your hotel and update it, right? You can't have 20-year-old televisions in the room and trying to charge $200 a night. Then nobody's going for that, right? You can't have old 1995 carpet in your room when it's 2025 right now, right? So you have to keep your hotel up to date. There's a budget that we would advise you to kind of start. So don't go just spending all the money that you make. Tuck a little back for those renovations or the PIP. And every so often, if your plan for that hotel is to hold it for a period of time, you're going to want to budget a certain amount of money, maybe $500,000 or maybe even $1 million, depending on what you feel that renovation would be for that PIP. You definitely are going to want to do that. So that is something that, as a franchisee, you're going to be responsible for. But I'll say this more than anything: the franchisee, and you got to believe this, brother, and I know you understand this. Your hotel is a small business, right? It's your business. The franchisee is responsible for the culture of that business, right? So you're going to want to have the right people. You're going to want to be the right person. You're going to want to have the right general manager. You're going to want to have the right management company in there that is giving off the right message of positivity. And especially if you're in a situation where you're trying to create economic development, You may be near an HBCU or a college, and you're employing young children and you're teaching them how to, run a business themselves. You're responsible for that culture, man. I can't stress that enough. And there's nothing like for a college kid to be able to go to a healthy place to work and learn and grow and understand how business works. It's just no substitute for it.
I love that. I love like the culture of your hotel and how you treat your staff directly affects how they treat the customers, and then the
Facts.
customers directly affect how word spreads about your hotel and affects your bottom line.
Exactly. Now imagine if you have customers that it's already a choice hotels, right? So you're going to get a certain amount of people that are going to come because it's that. But now you got people that are writing reviews online saying this is the best hotel I've ever stayed in. I'm somebody, and you got to understand, I work in hotel development. I read those reviews. I read them. I may not read every single review, but I'm gonna read enough to know whether I want to go to this hotel or not. So if I read enough bad reviews, it may be the best hotel out there. They probably lost me on this one. Too many people up front said that they didn't like it. But imagine if you got enough people saying, "Man, the hotel was perfect. It was clean. The smell in it was great." All those negative things that they could say about your hotel that will turn somebody like myself or you off. Those are positive things that you're getting now. That is what having a good culture creates, right? And it creates people that want to come back. It creates people that enjoy coming back. But more importantly, it creates people that are willing to tell their family and friends, go stay at that hotel. Or when somebody comes check into your hotel and say, hey, I'm staying here because my best friend told me to stay here and they loved it. Right?
Yep.
That's how we create that generational wealth, in my opinion, is creating that culture. But yeah, there's certain deliverables you got to give to the flag because hey, it's our responsibility. We don't want an old hotel. Nobody wants to stay in an old hotel. So we got to keep it up, right? But aside of that, man, if everybody's happy and they're greeting the customer and that client with a smile, that client's gonna want to come back when they come to that city, when they come to your city again.
Yep. 100% right. So before we close out here, do you have a success story for a first time franchisee?
Franchisees, I do, brother. I do. So I would invite the folks who are listening. There's a gentleman who, and so just so you know, like we didn't start this program with George Floyd. So we didn't just started lately and lately too. This program that we offer has been around. I'm talking about that helping underrepresented groups. This is our 22nd year now. So we've been doing it for a while. So we have a franchisee who started a while back. His name is Larry Triplett Sr. He's a big renowned McDonald's owner from the San Francisco Bay Area. And they own a Comfort Inn in Glendale, Arizona, not far from the football stadium. Does extremely well. This hotel that he and his son built, this was their first time hotel. That hotel is doing extremely well. It's one of the top comforts in our entire system. Larry Triplett Sr. To give you a success story of somebody that's rather new, there's a young brother that I talk to quite a bit. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Damon Healy. He owns 2 extended stay hotels in Georgia. You know Damon?
Yeah, I know, yeah. Me and Damon, we speak. Yeah, I know Damon.
That's my boy, man. I love that brother, man. He's thorough. He owns a suburban in Columbus and a suburban hotel, suburban studios in Macon, Georgia, and he's working on his 3rd one right now. So, and he's a young gun, man. I mean, you and he have kind of that dogged mentality about about how you approach the process. So, for me to hear you say you know him, that's not surprising at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Not surprising at all.
our community in this industry is kind of small,
It's
so
small, bro.
you'll hear the same, 5 or 6 names. Like you mentioned that you're in hotels, and you'll hear, "Do you know?" And I'm like, "Yep."
I know. I know, like, and that's how small our community is, right? If it's small enough. Put it this way here, and I don't want to take too much time, but there are a little bit north of 66,000 hotels in the United States. Roughly 1.5% of those are owned by Black and African Americans.
Yeah, Yep.
So
And I
small
appreciate
group.
Joyce, looking to change that and increase those numbers. And we're on board with increasing those numbers as well.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Each one teach one at a time, right? And for anybody listening, man, I mean, I invite everybody to go and talk to the flags, go to the conferences, go and network. Like you say, bro, it's a small world. So if you're doing anything in hotel development, those who are in the business, whether you're on the development side or you're a developer yourself, we know we know because it's a small world. Word travels real fast, and if get a relationship with all the flags, right? You don't, I always tell everybody you don't have to just, I have people that'll tell me, hey man, I only want to do choice because I enjoy working with you. Well, I'm like, well, at some point you're gonna have to work with someone else just because of the white space of what the offering provides, right? It just may not be an opportunity for a choice right there. So why not have a good relationship with one of the development folks at Marriott? Why
Right.
not have a good relationship with our development folks at Sonesta or IHG? You may need to call on them one day to get a hotel flag done. So, I would say, man, network, get out there. Um, you don't have to make every one, but I mean, shoot, man, there's a Black Hotel Conference that I think I don't know, do most of your listeners even know exists, right? I know you and I have sat down and we broken bread at that conference and had a great time. But I would love for all your listeners to come and see what it's all about and experience with just what you and I have experienced
Andy's gonna appreciate that little promotion there too.
there. He better. He better. I
Well,
love that guy up.
yeah. Well, Marcus, thank you so much for your time. And as I said on the outset, the information and wisdom you provide is second to none. And I'm more than happy to share this with my community. And I hope they enjoy and appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Anytime, man. You are my guy, brother. So anytime you call me and tell me you want me to hop on or come and, spread the word, brother, I got you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for
Awesome, brother.
coming in. Hey, everyone, thank you. You got the information. Now it's your turn to take action. And thanks for tuning into the Economic Empowerment Podcast.
My man.